Hello, friends. I'm Rima Kohli. I'm a motivational speaker, a soft skills trainer, a counselor, and an NLP coach. I've been taking sessions in various schools, colleges, and hospitals for the past more than 12 years. Today, because of the COVID times, I'm taking sessions online. And I thank Arpana Agarwal for calling me over on this platform to take a session with you all. I've been connected with Wonder Woman Connect since many years. The first program that was conducted at PhD Chambers, I was a part of that too. But I am very, very happy for Arpana that over the years Wonder Woman Connect has been doing amazingly well, and that's all because of her hard work and dedication. Today, we see that Wonder Woman Connect has gone globally, which is really, really wonderful. I'm so happy for her, and I wish her all the very best for all her future endeavors. Today we'll be talking on the topic which is much sought after. If I ask you all, what is the most important thing that you want in life? So I'm sure all of you are going to say happiness. Hi Arpana, thank you so much for welcoming me here. It's an amazing platform, and I'm sure like everybody who will join us today will enjoy the session. So should we get started, Arpana, or do you want me to wait for a little while? Okay, hi Raki, how are you? Good to see so many people joining in. It's really nice to have my friends over. It gives me a boost, and it gives me a push from the back to do even more better. So so lovely to have you all. So I'll get started. Today we'll talk about something which all of us are interested in, wanting in life. That is happiness. And hi Shreya, how are you? So wonderful to see you. Thank you for taking out time. Happiness basically is a term used for mental and emotional state, which includes positive and pleasant emotions ranging from contentment to intense joy. I would like to share a famous proverb here. If you want to be happy for an hour, take a nap. If you want to be happy for a day, go for a picnic. If you want to be happy for a year, then inherit a lot of fortune. But if you want to be happy for a lifetime, then do something good for others. So here I would like to share about 10 or 11 things with you to make you a little happier, which all of us can do very easily sitting at home. Out of them, first thing that I would like to start with is do exercises every day. It is very essential for your physical as well as for your mental well-being. At least make sure that you do exercises half an hour a day. It could be very simple exercises like yoga or even breathing exercises, or you could be even walking, that is like I'm saying not strolling but brisk walking on your terrace. And second is sleep well. Sleeping is really very important for good health. We generally tend to ignore it. But believe me, 7 to 8 hours of sleep can do wonders to you, because not having proper sleep and having sleep deprivation leads to negative emotions. Another thing which we people don't give too much of importance is our workplace. We don't think whether it is close to our home or not. But it is very, very essential to have your workplace very close to where you stay. It is not important to have a big house, but it is important to have a house closer to your workplace so that you don't have frustration or that unhappiness in commuting too long. Next, spend time with family and friends. I know this time is difficult. We are not able to visit people, but there are always other ways to be connected. We have our social media. You can connect by Facebook like we are doing today. You can connect on WhatsApp. You can connect on Instagram. Whatever platform is comfortable for you. And this is the best time, believe me, to spend quality time with your family. Why not play board games like we used to play earlier, like Scrabble and Ludo and Snakes and Ladder, or even Carom, or even watch a nice movie that all of us enjoy together. Have our meals together, our lunch, our breakfast, our dinner, or even have sports like basketball or badminton, which you can play on the terrace or in your driveway. So there are so many umpteen number of ways that we can spend time with our family. Now, since we can't go outside, another way which I would tell you to have a change in your area of comfort is, if you are doing your morning prayers in your room, probably you can read the newspaper in the TV lounge or the family lounge, and you can probably go out in the balcony, do a little bit of watering of plants. You can go up to the terrace, you can take a stroll, admire the sky, admire the birds flying in the sky, which generally we are so busy that we don't have time to watch all this. Our mundane routine is getting on to us so much that probably God has given us a break that, okay, now take out time for things that you love to do the most. Bring out those talents in you which were hidden earlier, or which you didn't get time to pursue. Do them right now. This is the perfect time, because the time that you're getting now, you might not get ever in your life, and probably later on you will repent, I wish I had utilized that time well. So please, even if you haven't started now, please do it now. Now, another thing is very easy, which all of us can do free of cost and anytime. Just have a smile on your face. Smile is the most beautiful curve on your face, and once you have a smile, you don't need any kind of makeup. That's the most beautiful accessory that God has gifted us. But we people we tend to use it with so much of thinking and as a miser. But I think we should smile freely, and that also tends to give us positive feelings inside. Another thing, because we can't travel doesn't mean that we need to be upset or depressed or feeling low about it. We can always plan a trip mentally, you come up with the idea, okay, I want to see these places, this is what I'm going to do there. Even the feeling of planning a holiday tends to make you happy. Just try sometime. Meditation. That's another thing which is very essential and very important for us nowadays. If you haven't started meditating, start with 5 to 10 minutes a day. Later on, probably you can increase it to 30 minutes. You can see for yourself how you rewire your brain towards happiness. Another thing that I would like to share is, please practice gratitude. Be grateful for the things that you have around you. It's very simple. Just maintain a journal. In that, start noting the points. I am grateful because I am alive. I am grateful because I'm healthy. I am grateful because I'm surrounded with my loved ones. I am grateful because I can see this beautiful world. I am grateful that I can move all my limbs. So there are umpteen number of things that we can be grateful for. Initially, in your journal, every day you can note down for 15 to 20 days or probably even a month. Later on, you will realize that it will automatically come into you, that you will start feeling grateful for everything that's around you. Now, when we are doing things, you must have noticed, if we are trying to hunt or find happiness, that is the time that we get frustrated and angry because we do not, achieve happiness what we want. But let us turn the table a little around. Let us live by the day, 1. Second, let us complain less. Third, let us be happy with whatever we have around. Rather than complaining, let us be happy, grateful and satisfied with the things that we have in hand. And let us do things for others. In the end, you will realize that automatically you will feel happiness. Happiness will go hand in hand with you. You don't have to go hunting for it. On one hand, we say that, okay, we want big houses. But do you feel big houses are the one that are going to solve all the purpose? So let me tell you, more than a big house, a happy home is what we should be sorting after. We all want happiness. We all know how to get happiness, but we do not do those things that give us happiness. Why? Because we are busy. And we are busy doing what? We are busy trying to be happy. So stop trying to be happy, live by the day, and you will realize how beautiful the world is. There are so many things to be happy for. Okay, here I would like to share an incident with you. There was a man like us. He went to Buddha and he said, Buddha, I really worship you, and today I want to ask you something. So Buddha smiled and he said, okay, ask what you want. He said, I want to be happy. To this, Buddha smiled and replied, first of all, remove the I, that is your ego. Next, remove want to be. Want to be is your desire. Now all you are left with is pure bliss and happiness. Another thing that I would like to share with you, me, all of us have the tendency of comparing ourselves with people who are socially at a better off position. What happens is we do not put ourselves in their shoes. We feel because they have materialistic things more than you, they are more happy than you. This way I think Bill Gates, Trump and even Ambani's should have been the most happiest people on earth. Hollywood actor Jim Carrey once said, God, if everyone feels that happiness is with money, then make everybody very rich and let them realize that that is not the true place where happiness is. So I will just share a story related to this. This is of a jungle and there's a crow. He's just roaming, flying here, flying there, and he's very happy with his life till he sits on a tree and he sees a swan there who is floating in the river, and seeing the swan, he envies the swan and says, wow, she's so beautiful. She's pure white and look at me, I am so black. I'm sure it is the most happiest bird on earth. So it goes up to the swan and says, you're so beautiful. I'm sure you are the most happy bird on earth. To this the swan replies, yes, a few months back I used to feel I am most happy. But ever since I have seen the parrot, I feel the parrot is more happy than me because it has two colors than one color that I have, which is so dull in front of it. So I feel, according to me, that the parrot is the most happy bird. The crow readily agrees and feels that it is a practical answer to give. So it goes and it flies to the parrot and says, parrot, I think you are very beautiful and you are the most happy bird on earth. You're so beautiful, you have two colors. So the parrot says, yes, till recently I used to feel happy that I am the most beautiful bird on earth. But when I saw the peacock, I realized that the peacock is multicolored and it is very beautiful. I am nothing compared to it. So I feel that the peacock is the most beautiful bird on earth. So the crow goes flying to the peacock and it sits on the tree and it waits because the peacock is an enclosure which is in a zoo, and a lot of visitors I've come to see the peacock and are clicking pics of the peacock. So finally when the visitors go away, the crow goes to the peacock and says, peacock, I think you are the most beautiful bird on earth because you are rich with so many colors. The peacock replies, 2 months back, I used to feel that I am the most lucky and most happiest bird on earth because I am most beautiful. But just a few months back, I realized that you are the most luckiest bird on earth because you have the freedom to fly here and there. You have the freedom to do what you want to do. My beauty has come with a cost. I cannot be, moving about freely. I don't have my freedom. I wish I could bargain my beauty for your freedom. That is the time the crow realizes that we have to be grateful for what we have. We have to be happy with what we are. And probably we are the most happiest person and somebody else might be admiring us for our happiness. So this is like, with humans as well. Instead of comparing ourselves with people who are socially above us, why not compare ourselves with people who are below us? Why don't we see a dead body and say, thank God I am alive. Thank you, God. I'm so happy I have another day to see. Why don't we see a sick person and say, thank God I am healthy. God, you have given me another day to fulfill my dreams, what I have. There are people who don't even wait to see the old age, and we are all blessed that we are, getting a healthy life. So why not make maximum use of it? Do whatever you want to do right now. Make the most of the time that you have in hand. Think of it that I have today. I have to think about today. I have to jot down my plan for what I am going to do today. Now, another incident that I would like to share with you is that a teacher tells the children in a classroom of 50 that each of you take a balloon, write your name on the balloon, and then go to the adjacent room and just place the balloon there. All the children are really excited that today's teacher making us do something really nice and exciting. Come on, let us write our names and just place the balloon in that room. Once they have done that, then the teacher asks the children, okay, now go and collect the balloon of your name and just come outside into the classroom to me. They feel it's so simple. What a simple activity the teacher has told us to do. I'll do it within seconds, you see. So then, the children just rush to that room, but because there are 50 children and the door is small, they are not able to go through it. So there's lots of pushing, there's lots of frustration, there's a lot of anger, and because they are unable to do the activity. Ultimately, the teacher says, come on, all of you come back here. Now make a line and just go one by one into that room, and whatever balloon you see first, whosoever's name is written on it, just get the balloon outside. So the students follow the teacher, her instructions. They go into the room one by one. They carry the balloon with them which has whatever name on it, and they come and give it to the child whose name is written on it. In this process, they are able to get the balloons, all of them, in a time span of 20 minutes. Now, they are feeling happy because they are able to complete the task. They are able to do what the teacher had told them. Such is life. We are able to achieve our goal of happiness when we do things for others. And we have to realize that the happiness lies within us, nowhere else. We don't have to go hunting outside for happiness. Now, I'll tell you how the happiness lies inside us. This has been proved that the happiness, 90% of it is in our control. How? 50% of it is genetically, what we are given by our parents, and 40% depends on our daily activities, what we do, what we think. So now you understand how 90% of the happiness lies with you. Only 10% depends on what is happening in our life. So now that you've understood, do the techniques that would help you remain happy. Now, another activity which a teacher made the students do, she gave everybody a sheet of paper and told them to write what they want to become in life. Now to this, the children started writing. Some of them wrote, I want to be a doctor. Someone wrote, I want to be an engineer. Somebody wrote, I want to be an actor. Somebody wrote, I want to be a fashion designer. Whatever dreams they wanted to pursue, all the children started writing. And after writing, they handed over the sheets to the teacher. The teacher was going through the sheets. All of a sudden, the school bell rang and the day was over. So the students started leaving and to go home. And as they were going towards the door of the classroom to leave the classroom, the teacher happened to put her eye on a piece of paper, and she tended to call Manish. On his piece of paper, he had written, I want to be happy. So the teacher called Manish and said, Manish, I think you haven't understood the assignment. To this, Manish was looking on the ground, and he was very reluctant. He didn't know whether he should answer or he should keep quiet. But gathering a lot of courage, he tends to, tell the teacher that, teacher, I think you haven't understood life. On hearing this, the teacher is taken so aback because like she understands what a deep thing Manish had said. So she just smiles and says, Manish, thank you. Bye-bye. We'll see each other tomorrow. So life is so simple if we understand. But we are not to be blamed. In NLP, there's a term called negative anchoring. Now I'll explain to you what negative anchoring is. If all of you during your childhood have visited the circus at some point or the other, you would have realized that in a circus, we were used to look forward to seeing the clown. We used to look forward to seeing the trapeze artist. We used to look forward to seeing the animals perform there. Now, you know how the biggest mammal, the elephant, is placed in the circus? Well, let me share it with you. They get the elephant when it is a small baby, and the master or the trainer puts a rope around the elephant's neck and then ties the rope to a peg. And the elephant feels it is energetic enough, it has that much of power that when it'll just tug or pull and push and force all its energy into it, it'll be able to break the rope and get free. So the baby elephant tries hard to push, pull, and is angry also, is frustrated also, is trying all possible ways to just free itself from it. But the master and the trainer just stays away. It waits patiently for the right time because it knows it'll take time. It's only when the elephant gives up, the elephant becomes calm. That is the time that the master or the trainer comes near the elephant, takes the elephant for training, and within 6 months the elephant is trained to then perform in the arena. The same way, let's take the elephant forward 20 years from here when the elephant grows into a big size animal. What happens at that time? The elephant is so conditioned that it does not have the power and energy, although just one tug would probably pull the rope out of the peg, but it is mentally conditioned that it doesn't have that much of energy, it cannot pull out the rope from the peg, so it remains still and calm. The same is with all of us. As children, as we were growing up, the society, the family, the peers, everybody around us conditioned us to this, that we have to work hard. We have to make a successful career. We have to earn a lot of money. And if we are going to do all that, we are going to get lots of money. We'll be able to buy lots of materialistic things and we are going to be happy. On the other hand, like I told you right now, 90% of the happiness is actually in our hand. How? 50% genetically, 40% by the things and the actions that we do every day, and only 10% depends on what is happening in our life in future or even in our near present. Okay, another thing that I would like to share with you is we all believe in God. I take it that we are all believers of God. We have to have not only belief, we have to have firm trust in God that whatever God does is for our good. And whenever it is the right time, God is going to give us what we deserve. Probably now is not the right time. We are not able to understand because we can't foresee future. We don't know what the future holds for us, but God knows. And probably He's waiting for the right time to give us that thing. Now I'll share a story here with you. There are two beggars who haven't had anything to eat since a day, and they are so famished, so hungry that they are not able to control their hunger. So they go up to a house and they ask the lady, "Can you give us something to eat? Please, if you have something, give us to eat." So the lady is telling them, nodding her head, "Okay, I will get something, wait." One beggar is very impatient and he's just not able to control his hunger. He just wants something right away. Seeing that, the lady rushes in, gets 5 stale chapatis and gives him one tablespoon full of vegetables at room temperature. Seeing this, the beggar is very happy that 5 chapatis would fill his tummy. So he happily goes away. Now the other beggar is wondering, if she had 5 chapatis, couldn't she give us half-half? She could have given 2.5 to him, 2.5 to me, and she could have even distributed the vegetable half and half. Why did she have to give him 5 chapatis? Anyway, he was just wondering and pondering whether he should wait or he should go away. Will she give him the chapatis also, or is she done for the day? So he's just kind of, in his thoughts thinking. And then the lady comes out with 5 hot, freshly baked chapatis and freshly made vegetables. To this, the beggar realizes that it was worth waiting, and he thanks the lady and happily goes away. The same is with life. When we show impatience, God does give us, but probably he gives things half-heartedly, and that's why, it's not so fulfilling. Let us have patience. Let us wait for the right time to receive, because he knows the best, and whatever he gives us at that time will give us immense happiness that you have to be sure of, and have to be confident, and have to have a firm belief in God. Okay, I am sure all of you think that happiness is the goal that we have to reach. Now I will tell you, a little like I differ from you here. It is not the goal. It is a result of a well-lived lifestyle. Now how? I will explain to you. Supposing, let's take that it's your birthday. And on your birthday, there are 2 ways of celebrating it. One is either you arrange for a big party of 200 and 250 guests, and you have a lavish spread. You have an A-class decoration, you have the perfect music for the evening, and you spend quite a bit of money in arranging all this. You put in a lot of hard work as well. The guests come, they are happy, they shower you with lavish gifts, and even give you a number of compliments. You are very happy at the end of the day that, okay, the party went off very well, and what you had thought in mind, that has been achieved. On the other hand, you buy goodies for 200, 250 slum area kids, or even the kids in MCD schools. It could be eatables, it could be stationery stuff, it could be even woolens if it is winters. You distribute that among those children. Both the places you get good wishes and blessings. Both the places you are spending money. Both the places you have put in hard work. Now you tell me which is the place that you will experience most happiness. I'm sure you all will agree with me that the second place where we distribute gifts among these poor children, we experience more happiness. Why? We experience happiness because we have a sense of fulfillment, a sense of achievement, a sense of being useful to the society. That tends to make us have a feeling of fulfillment, a feeling of satisfaction, a feeling of worth. And that is why we are happy. Another incident I will share with you. This is a person is just rushing on the road. He's trying to get to his office or workplace, and probably because of some reason he got delayed to step out of the house. So he's running literally like crazy, and he has a backpack on his back. What happens? All of a sudden the backpack opens and all his papers are scattered on the roadside. Now he bends down and he starts picking up his papers one by one so that none of his papers get left out there. There's a person who's crossing from there. He sees all this and he offers to help this guy. So he also bends down and collects all the papers for him. There's a third person who is seen from the opposite side of the road. He's seeing this activity and he is feeling happy about it. All 3 of them in their places are experiencing happiness. Now why? I will share with you. The person who is helping selflessly, without any selfish motive, he is feeling happiness because his body is releasing a chemical, a love hormone, a magic hormone called oxytocin. And this hormone helps you to feel that sense of fulfillment, that sense of satisfaction, the sense of being useful. The person who's being helped is feeling happiness because a stranger whom he has never seen, who has never spoken to him, has offered to help him in this crisis hour. And the third person is feeling happiness because he is getting inspired by this person who is helping and who is getting helped, and probably in future he himself is thinking of helping people around him. So this is how the magic works. Our body is full of chemicals, and there are 4 chemicals which help us in achieving happiness. You will be surprised. That is how your body works. Now let me share those chemicals with you. The first chemical is dopamine. This is the reward chemical. This is the chemical that we experience when we are going to complete a task, or we have completed a task, and we are eating something very exotic, a very well prepared food. That's the time that dopamine is released from our body. Oxytocin, like I told you earlier, the love hormone or the magic hormone, we experience this when we help others selflessly, when we play with a dog, when a mother strikes or pats or strokes her baby with unimaginable love, with selflessly just thinking the best for the child. That's the time that oxytocin is released. Serotonin, this is the mood stabilizer. This is what we experience when we do meditation, when we do cycling, when we do swimming. Any form of exercise, fits in here. The fourth hormone is endorphin. That is the painkiller. Now this we experience when we are watching a comedy show, or when we are doing laughing exercises, or even when we are having dark chocolate. So you see, releasing these hormones from our body, these chemicals from our body is so simple. It is all under our control. So what are you waiting for? Start changing your daily way of thinking, your daily way of activity, and see what magic you can do. Now the mantra that I would like to share with you: happy mind, happy life, count blessings and gratefulness to remain happy for the rest of your life. Now here I would like to share another thing with you. Kahneman and Dayton, like I told you, were two a psychologist and a sociologist from America who won a Nobel Prize, and they found out that materialistic things do give us happiness. If you win a lottery, of course you are going to be happy, but that happiness is going to be for a short while. Why? Because humans have the tendency to get used to things. Like the most exotic or the exclusive or the luxurious things that you have bought would give you happiness for 1 year. Even the most expensive cell phone when you buy, it will give you happiness for a short while. But then later on, probably you will not even give it a second glance because you get used to that new normal. Now look at yourself during this COVID time only. Initially, we were very upset. We were very perturbed by the fact that we have to stay at home because we were so used to going out. We were so used to socializing. But now slowly we are getting used to this new lifestyle. This is our new normal. So that is why you now can understand why materialistic things are not the things that actually give us happiness. The actual happiness lies in a happy home. The actual happiness lies within us. 90% we are in control of it. Now let me tell you the age bracket and the happiness, how it is interrelated. Now, when we are 25 years old, we don't have any responsibilities. We are forming our career. We are shaping our life. We are trying to settle in life. So because we don't have any responsibilities, we don't have any stress, we don't have any pressure, that time we have 22% of happiness as far as studies tell us. As we progress high, in our age, as we age, we reach our age of 50, that is the time that our happiness starts decreasing. The percentage of happiness becomes 16%. Why? Because that is the peak time for us to fulfill our responsibilities, to fulfill our duties. So it is so much of pressure on us to do everything well, to do everything streamlined, that it takes a toll on us and we forget to be happy. We forget to experience the things that are around us. Then slowly, as we get over our responsibilities, as we get over our duties, then again we realize that now we can relax. Now we can take a back seat. Now it is for us to transfer our responsibilities to our children. Now we can enjoy life. So studies say that around 70 to 80 years of age, we experience the most happiness, that is 24%. People are more happy during this phase. So that doesn't mean that right now at whatever age you are, you can't experience happiness. Please don't take it that way. This is just a study that I'm sharing with you. Start doing the activities that I told you and definitely get back with to me, giving your replies and your response. That will matter and help me a lot in my future sessions as well. Now I would like to share a poem with you, but before that I would like to do a small activity with you. For this I would request you all to kindly shut your eyes. Please close your eyes, all of you. I'm happy to know that, Arpana, that you are happy right now. So all of you, please close your eyes, sit in a comfortable place. And when you close your eyes, you will see the darkness inside you and just concentrate on your breathing. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now just imagine that you have had a very good sleep at night. You have slept for 8 hours. You are totally fresh. You get a call from your friend and your friend tells you that let's meet after 1 hour at Starbucks. So you are really excited about it and you just jump out of the bed out of excitement. You go to the washroom, you brush your teeth and you are literally singing your heart out. You are having a bath and after having a bath you come out, you take out your favorite floral dress, you put on that dress, you go to the dressing room, you put on the mascara, you put on the eyeliner, you apply the lipper, and after that you tend to carry your smart bag, your footwear, you carry your sunglasses, move towards the car, sit in your car. First thing you do is, after starting the car, give a call to your friend and ask her whether she has left her house too, because you want to make sure that none of you are waiting for each other and you reach approximately at the same time. Now after that you switch on nice soft music in your car and you are enjoying those songs and that music that is on. When you reach that place, the first thing you do is you hug your friend and you exchange pleasantries. After that you go to the cash counter, you order for a nice strong frappe and a couple of grilled sandwiches. You come back to your seat, you sit down and then you are exchanging whatever you have lost on. You ask about your family, you ask about the things that you are doing, you exchange all possible things under the sun. And at that point of time, it is so surprising that you're not thinking about the sandwich. You're not thinking how good the coffee is, because at that time, those things don't matter to you. All that matters to you is to talk to your friend, chat your heart out, hear your friend, just giggle your heart out, just laugh and just enjoy the moment. Now, I would request all of you to just concentrate on your breathing again. Breathing in, breathing out. Now slowly, slowly open your eyes. Now I would like you to share with me, how did you feel? Did you feel positive? Did you have a smile on your face? See, having positive vibes and being happy is so simple. It is all inside us. It is all here. We have to train ourselves how to be happy. So like this, any point of time you're feeling low, any point of time you're feeling that no, I am not enjoying the things around me, just sit quietly. Just imagine the thing that makes you happy. It could be even planning an itinerary for a holiday mentally. It could be even thinking about your most favorite dish that you love to eat. It could be like, just having golgappas on the roadside with your friends that you're imagining. Let me tell you, the simplest things in life actually gives us the most happiness. If you have ever recollected or you remember the past, I think you enjoyed eating the golgappas more on the roadside with your friends and family than, sitting in a fine dining in a five-star and enjoying that exotic meal. Or probably like, during your school time or college time, you must have sat in, a bullock cart or a tonga, and you must have enjoyed that ride even more than you had, while you were driving a Mercedes or an Audi. This is how simple life is. Then why do we make it so complicated? Here I would like to share a poem with you. Smiling is infectious. This is a poem that is written by Spike Milligan. The poem goes like this. Smiling is infectious. You catch it like the flu. When someone smiled at me today, I started smiling too. I passed around the corner and someone saw me grin. When he smiled, I realized I'd passed it on to him. I thought about that smile. Then I realized its worth. A single smile just like mine could travel round the earth. So if you feel a smile begin, don't leave it undetected. Let's start an epidemic quick and get the world infected. So with this, I would like to, tell you all, if you have any kind of questions, please feel free to share it. I would love to answer your questions. And once again, I would like to thank Arpana for inviting me over on this platform. I hope you all enjoyed this session as much as I enjoyed giving this session to all of you. So if there is any question that you have in mind, please be ready to shoot at me. And if it's like done, then before ending, I would just like to share 4 lines with you. संगीनियत के बाज़ार में मैंने खुशियाँ खरीदी. Sorry, I'll repeat it again. संगीनियत के बाज़ार से मैंने खुशियाँ खरीदी, कुछ आप सब में बांट दी, कुछ मैंने खुद बटोर ली. So stay happy, stay healthy, stay safe. Till we meet again. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Love you all.